the rim or the back of the iron. Notice how the backspin will literally slow down the rebounding action of the ball and cause it to hesitate on the rim area, and many times it'll fall in. Another area to stress is to make sure all the fingers end up pointing down. For greatest accuracy, we want the two shooting fingers to push most because they are in the middle of the ball and lined up most with the shooting arm. These two fingers will often be a bit further down because of this pushing action. The other fingers should never be lower. If they are, that tells us that they were used more, and this will cause more left-right misses. Now you will perform a series of drills using the first three phases. With the hands in the ready position, slowly raise the ball and snap the shooting hand down when the arm is completely extended. The two shooting fingers push the most when the shooting arm reaches full extension. If executed properly, the hand should look like this, the two shooting fingers slightly lower than the rest. Both hands are held high to ensure proper arc. Do this 25 times. Check your form. Shooters see two shooting fingers above the biceps and elbow pointing toward the target. Many players have found it very effective to perform this drill in front of a mirror. Either way, you must watch your form very closely. Remember, your success depends upon what you do before the release. Add the ball to the last drill and shoot air shots. It's important that you learn to recognize what proper form feels like. So as you perform this drill, you should be able to feel that the two shooting fingers are the last to touch the ball. Also, watch to make sure you are getting a backspin. If you are, continue shooting in sets of 25 until you can feel and see that every shot is coming off the fingers consistently and you are using proper form. Now, you may not be getting a backspin. Many people don't at first. If this is the case, stop and perform this next drill. Take the ball and roll it back as far as possible on the pads of the shooting hand. Extend the arm and snap the hand and two shooting fingers down. Do this until you consistently get a backspin. The final step in the shot process is called freeze, holding the follow-through until the ball gets to the basket. Although the ball has already left the hand, this step has a lot of influence on the accuracy of the shot. Here's how. First, it creates more body control in the whole shooting process, and this produces much better form. Another benefit is that it leaves evidence of what you just did, so you have immediate feedback as to how you released the ball. With information like this, you can even make corrections during a game. A common mistake in this area is to pull the hand back in a flicking motion after some shots. If this is done, you not only lose evidence, but you also are shooting several different types of shots. This will cause a lot more long, short misses. You want consistency. Every shot delivered the same way, every time. Here's what you should notice as you hold the follow-through. Your offhand is vertical and the shooting arm is completely extended with the hand above the middle of the basket. Having the hand finish directly above the basket will show where you were aiming. If the hand is off to one side, you'll often miss to that side. What makes the one-hand system so successful is this. If you release the ball properly, it will go wherever your two shooting fingers are pushing. Another point that was mentioned earlier is the release, how the ball came off the fingers. A typical mistake is the fingers pointing either in or out. A lot of left-right misses are caused by this because the shooting force was not delivered in the middle of the ball. To make this final step a part of your form, perform the following drills. Hold your shooting hand in the freeze position and focus on the basket. You should still be able to see your fingers with your peripheral vision. Now, without looking at your hand, move it from side to side and then stop it directly above the basket. Sometimes your hand will not be lined up and you need to see what right and wrong looks like. Next, check the release form. First the right way, with the fingers down. Now the wrong way, fingers pointing out or in. Put the outside fingers down. Learning to recognize these mistakes allows you to make changes when you do miss. Begin modeling your shot in front of a basket. Keep your eyes on the rim and then check your hands during the freeze position. Both hands should be held high and the two shooting fingers held above the center of the basket. Do this 15 times. Now add a ball to your practice and put all the pieces together. Start with some air shots and then shoot off the wall. Air and wall shots are extremely efficient because they give you a lot of reps in a short period of time. Plus, they allow you to totally concentrate on your form. Start in the ready position and shoot 25 times. Freeze the hands until the ball bounces. As you shoot, constantly check to make sure your form looks and feels right. Pick out a spot on the wall and make the ball hit that spot dead center. Don't push your hand at the spot. This will cause you to shoot without an arc. Concentrate on the feeling of lifting instead of pushing. This will keep the ball in front of the body. Finish each shot with the hands high and the two shooting fingers above the mark. Repeat this drill until you are consistently hitting the mark. When that happens, you are ready to start shooting at a basket. Another drill that many NBA players use to make sure their release is consistent is using the edge of the backboard. Stand so you are in line with the side of the board. Now, see if you can make the ball come back to you consistently. 7 out of 10 tries. If you are off even a little, it will show up. Of all the information we've covered in the 4 phases of the shot, ready, aim, fire, and freeze, here are the most important points in the order they occur. Shooting pocket. This is where the shot begins. With the wrist cocked, the ball is positioned out in front of the shoulder and to the side of the face. 2 shooting fingers. These 2 fingers push the most during the release. When they are positioned in the middle of the ball, it will go wherever they push. This is what makes the one-hand system so accurate. Shooter C. The shooting arm forms a block letter C in a vertical plane. Elbow points toward the basket. The elbow is under the ball and points in the direction of the basket. Only in this position can the arm deliver the greatest strength and accuracy. Complete arm extension. This makes every shot the same. Freeze. Hold the follow-through until the ball gets to the basket. This leaves evidence of how you release the ball. After establishing good form habits, which is workout number 1 in your training manual, you'll take your new shot to a basket and begin developing your accuracy from all over the court. To make sure your offhand is completely trained, continue to use the Star Shooter Aid for 2 weeks for all your practice. After that, use it for at least the first 15 minutes of each workout just to maintain your form. Your first practice session at a basket is from the free throw line. Now, we've designed it this way to lock in your form and create habits that will give you the best chance of becoming a great shooter. When practicing free throws, establish a routine you like and then use it every time. Having a familiar pattern to follow, along with a deep breath at some point, helps relieve much of the pressure that is often associated with this shot. A routine I advocate is one that will get you shooting at 90% and higher. It is a slight revision of that used by the world's greatest free throw shooter, Dr. Tom Amberry, who at the age of 71 made 2,750 free throws in a row. What makes his routine so effective is that it eliminates all variables of error and puts your body in the best position to be successful. Let's take a look at it. There are 3 steps. Step 1, toe, valve, stem. Step 2, elbow in, defense. Step 3, focus, fire, and freeze. In step 1, toe valve stem, toe refers to positioning the shooting foot behind the middle of the line so the big toe lines up with the center of the rim. The non-shooting foot is in its normal position, toe even with the instep of the shooting foot. Valve stem refers to positioning the two shooting fingers in the seam below the valve stem in the best position for their length. Now, because the differences in length of these two fingers varies from person to person, there really is no one set position. Generally, you'll find it's one of these three options. Either the two shooting fingers straddling the valve stem and in the seam, or the index finger in line with the valve stem and also in the seam, or the middle finger in line with the valve stem in the seam. Follow the directions for workout number 2 in your training manual to find out which position works best for you. Step 2 is elbow in defense. Elbow in reminds you to have good vertical alignment, so the ball and all the arm parts are in a vertical plane in the shooting pocket. I often use the illustration of the shooting pocket being like an elevator. Once all the arm parts are inside the elevator, it can then move up and on its way. Also keep in mind that the ball may be started higher or lower in the shooting pocket depending upon an individual's strength. For free throws, once you find your best position, start there every time. Defense is a reminder to flex at the knees and the hips, as if in a defensive stance. This produces power, which in turn creates distance and arc. Although the term defense sounds out of place here, you will find it is a very effective reminder. To help get comfortable, I find a slight bounce helps to relax and create rhythm for the shot. Step 3, focus, fire, and freeze. Focus refers to concentrating on a certain area of the rim as you shoot. Now, many professionals differ on this point. They do, however, agree on this one fact. You are much more accurate if you focus on a small area of the rim instead of looking at the entire rim. Experts have found that focusing on a small area increases concentration and produces much better results. Also, by aiming at the center, you can be off a bit and still make the shot. There is actually enough room for two balls to fit through the basket at the same time. With this in mind, I advocate picking a spot on the front of the rim for 2 reasons. 1, it is the most visible, and 2, should you come up short, the front of the rim gives more than the back. This will allow the ball a greater chance to fall through after contact. Once your eyes focus, have the feeling of lifting the ball up and over that spot. Fire simply means initiating the shot. Once you do decide to shoot, be sure to perform it at game speed. The last portion of this step is freeze, holding the follow-through. This places emphasis on using a proper release. When developing accuracy from other areas of the court, the most effective method is to make several shots in a row from the same spot. Our program uses 5 in a row. This type of practice forces your form, arc, and power to be consistent while producing enough repetition to create good muscle memory. Another important factor that aids in developing distance accuracy is practicing on a surface that has the basic floor markings, the free throw lane with the 2 large blocks and the 3-point line. With these markings, you know exactly where you are, even when not looking at the basket. This helps to make that split-second decision to remember how much power is needed to make the shot. To this point, we have only demonstrated a 2-motion shot, catching the ball with the shooting foot back and then stepping forward to acquire extra power. Although excellent for long range, it is often too slow to be used inside the 3-point line, where there just isn't much time to get off a good shot. A much faster method is shooting in 1 motion, catching the ball with both feet in the air and landing on both feet at the same time, and then going right up with a shot. With this method, you can shoot from a quick stop off a pass or dribble before the defense even has a chance to recover. The key to performing this shot, and it is absolutely essential, is to land with good flexion at the knees and the hips. This is what gives you good balance, power, and rhythm. To be the greatest threat possible, learn to use the one-motion shot while moving in various directions. The phrase, ball in the air, feet in the air, is a good reminder to catch the ball with both feet off the ground. Also, while airborne, position the feet to land pointing toward the basket and already in shooting position. For the times this can't be done, always pivot and square up to the basket so your shooting foot is free. This gives you the best advantage to shoot and drive. Now, learning the one-motion shot can be difficult, so we have broken it down into stages. Workouts 2 and 3 in your training manual begin by shooting from a stance where the feet are already positioned toe to instep. This will train you to use the entire body to produce power. The final stage is to shoot on the move using a jump stop from a pass and off the dribble. This is covered in workouts 4, 5, and 6. As a closing comment concerning the one and the two-motion shooting methods, keep in mind that distance and your limitations of strength and coordination determine which one to use. If the two-motion method is needed when shooting on the move, practice it from different positions, concentrating on the footwork. Notice as the inside foot lands, it is already partially turned. This helps the body square up to the basket faster. A variation of this method that creates a one-motion shot is using a soft jump stop, landing on one foot just slightly before the other. Shooting in this manner helps those who want a faster release but for some reason find it difficult to shoot from a regular jump stop. Whichever method you end up using, and all of them will be used at times, your form, from the position of the feet to the final release, must not change. Remember this rule: if your form has to change, you're out of your range. Making adjustments to eliminate misses. Improving accuracy involves eliminating misses. So when they do occur, make it a habit of asking why. This final section lists the major reasons for inaccuracy and also gives you some options to consider when making adjustments. Reasons for left-right misses. For misses that occur in the left-right category, consider these reasons. Notice that most of them are errors in form. Number 1, offhand interference. Some type of pushing action is occurring, or the fingers could be dragging across the ball. You should be able to feel this happening. 2, poor vertical alignment. All the arm parts may not be in the vertical plane in the elevator. 3, poor release. The ball is coming off the fingers wrong. You should also be able to feel this happening. Lastly, if shooting on the move, fading to one side or the other. Make sure after your plant, your body goes straight up. Reasons for long-short misses. When misses occur in the long-short category, look for these 3 reasons. Number 1, too little arc. Most people have this problem. Number 2, the wrong amount of power. And 3, a combination of both arc and power. Shooting with proper arc gives you a distinct advantage to score consistently. But what is the right amount? Too much reduces your range, and too little produces shots that are long or short. Here's the easiest way to answer this question. Use enough arc so the ball doesn't touch the front or the back of the rim. In other words, shoot a no-iron shot, one that touches nothing but net. 5 ways to increase arc. If you find the need to produce more arc, consider these 5 options to help. Number 1, release the ball with both hands above the head. Number 2, create more upward force.